Welcome back, wonderful listeners, to Sammy and Marissa's husbands. Today on the agenda, we have a This Day in History by myself. First thoughts on the NCAA tournament. Players that we're impressed with. Tyler will address our new listeners. We have an anonymous tip from a caller, our best bets for the Sweet 16, and our bet slip records. So, This Day in History. 24 March 1989, the Exxon Valdez supertanker ran aground on a reef in Alaska, creating one of the worst oil spills in history. 11 million gallons of oil spilled, polluting 700 miles of coastline. The captain was drunk. He let a random crew member drive the whip, and he was only convicted of a misdemeanor for negligence. So that's some serious white privilege for your Sunday afternoon.
Did you catch his name?
There was his name on there. I didn't write it down. But he had to be white, right? If he wasn't white, he'd have been under the jail. Exxon only paid 25 million of the 100 million they were supposed to pay. So big oops by Exxon, just killing birds left and right. But that's this day in history. NCAA tourney. What are your first thoughts, opening thoughts?
My bracket honestly is doing pretty well. I haven't checked today, but at the start of today, I was at like 97%. So my bracket's been killer. Game that I didn't expect was Yale beating Auburn. I didn't have that happening.
No, I don't think many did.
I didn't have Auburn going crazy far, but still that's kind of surprising. Some of those Ivy League schools, they got some kids that can hoop.
It's the shooters. Man. You get hot in the NCAA tournament, you're hard to beat. I was in the field. So what?
I said we saw that with Oakland.
Saw that with Oakland for sure. I was in the field. We were doing land nav this week, so I was teaching the children how to be a professional navigator. And that was a significant emotional event for a lot of them. But that's another story for a different day. We did bring a TV out there, so we had a TV. I had my phone hooked up to it, so we were streaming. But like there was stuff going on, so I wasn't able to really sit down and watch a game from like the jump to finish. So I just caught really scores and updates throughout. I missed my first pick of the tournament, which was Mississippi State against Michigan State, which is pretty discouraging when that very first one automatically busts your bracket. That's pretty sad. I'll tell you what, there's nothing else in sports quite like the round of 64. Like that Thursday and Friday is like the greatest thing ever. It's just you can't even keep up with how many games are happening, what games are close. You're constantly flipping between channels, like trying to fucking look at your bracket, look at the screen, and just keep track of it all. It's honestly, it's exhausting. But there's really nothing like it. My brackets right now aren't so hot. I'm sixth place in our friend group bracket. I got 1690 max points. And in my family bracket, I'm ninth place. I have 169 max points, which it's the same bracket. Like I only made one bracket this year. I think that's better than doing like 10 different brackets. I just like doing one because then I keep track of who I picked and everything. But I could be doing better.
My bracket right now is sitting at 98%. I'm in first place in our group bracket and first place in our work bracket. So I'm having the best year I've ever had so far. It's not even close. I'm sure by the end of today, it'll be fucked, but that's the way it goes.
Who's your champion?
Arizona.
Oh yeah, they'll be fucked.
I got them going through Carolina in the Elite Eight.
I don't like it. Who do they play in the Sweet 16?
In the Sweet 16, it's not decided yet. They'll play the winner of Clemson and Baylor.
Clemson is looking pretty good right now against Baylor. I will say
And
the ACC is looking pretty good right now.
yeah,
Carolina,
I'm a little
Duke,
surprised based on the way they played in the regular season.
right?
But
Carolina, Duke, NC State, Clemson, like all playing pretty well. And I think like the Big 12, but people say like so much about the Big 12. I don't think the Big 12 is that great. Kansas, Kansas was out one of their better players. McCullough being out really screwed them. But they have five dudes. They have no bench. Um, I don't know. I think ACC is and always will be the best conference.
I don't think there's any debate about that, truthfully.
No, there's no.
Definitely not historically, but
Yeah, do you think Syracuse is going to stay in the ACC, or are they going to try to make a run back to the Big East at some point?
I think we should stay. I mean, we're a borderline tournament team this year.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think it's about that. I just think the rivalries that you've had in that Big East. I
the
just
Big East isn't the same though anymore.
Yeah, but it could be. Um,
I mean, there were good teams that came out. I mean, Creighton's good.
Creighton's good, UConn's good,
Good.
Marquette's good, Providence played it. They almost made it. Um,
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it because I thought it was strange when we came to the ACC.
I did too. Because you and Notre Dame came at like the same time.
But I have liked playing Carolina and playing Duke because you and Drew are Duke fans and Corey's a Carolina fan. So I mean, those are fun games.
Did you just say you and Drew are Duke fans? You just disrespect me saying I'm a Duke fan?
Did I say that?
I'm not one of those lower class citizens.
Oh, you and Corey are Carolina fans, and Duke and is a Drew fan. I'm having a stroke.
Duke is a Drew fan. Yep.
I think I'm having a stroke.
Yeah, it's happened. Um, but all in all, I think it's been a good tournament so far. Some good upsets, some close games, everything you'd want in the world. Um, some players that I'm impressed with. First of all, I gotta say, like the COVID year, I get it, but like these guys are freaking old. Like they're like 20, 26, 25 years old. Like we got to get rid of this COVID year. I'm ready for that to be over. I'm all about people playing as long as they can. And I like that people aren't playing one season and going to the league anymore. But like this 6 years in college is crazy.
I think you got to
Um,
cap it at 5.
yeah, you cap it at 5. And that's if it's a redshirt year, aka you're not playing one of those years.
Yeah.
But like the dude Golke, I think his name's that's how you say it, from Oakland, the dude that's been shooting the threes. He's had a great tournament. He's not the best player on his team. I'll talk about that dude in a little bit, but that dude looks like he's 33 years old. Like you see him on the court and he does the interviews after the game. I'm just like, dude, you need to cut your hair because I'm like, I get it. People's hairline recedes, but his is bad. It's really bad. And that just goes to show you, man, like you can't be so old anymore. But he's hitting a stupid amount of threes. I think he hit like what 11 threes that first game they had, and then he
I
played
think
really
he,
good against State too.
I think he had 6 against State.
Yeah, 6 against State, and he definitely was over 10 against. They beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Kentucky. So that was absurd. But that dude Townsend, who's also on Oakland, is nice. He's like 6'6". He plays like a kind of plays like a power forward wing type deal, but he had 30 and 13 against NC State. He's kind of like that. Burns for NC State is I know I've talked about him before, but that dude's just unstoppable. He just bangs into people and just throws some lefty shit up. And when you double team him, he just finds the open guy. That dude's legit. And then I like the Kolick guy from Marquette, the little lefty point guard they have. He had 21 and 11 today, and he just like controls the pace so good. He dictates everything that offense does. And they looked pretty good today, but that's kind of what I like so far. What about you?
Team that I like Illinois.
Uh-huh.
They got this kid who used to play for Syracuse, Quincy Guerrier. Got a stroke on him. He'll bang on somebody. And this other guy, Coleman Hawkins. He's like, I want to say like 6'10", got a decent handle, can pass the ball, good shooter. I think him, and I like that point guard on Tennessee.
Oh, Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I think this is
I mean,
his senior year
I mean, he obviously didn't shoot well, but he seems like a really scrappy dude, can run the offense.
for sure. Sometimes a little out of control though. He like is a little sped up.
He was giving my guy A. Smith some trouble, I think.
Yeah, I bet because A. Smith isn't much of a defender, but um,
Like when he was being guarded by
uh,
Zeke.
well, who did Tennessee play their first round? It was St. Peter's. Um, Zakai Ziegler has a brother who plays for St. Peter's, and they matched up, which is pretty crazy. I mean, like, what are the odds? But that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So, but yeah, you got any other players that you're super impressed with?
I mean, you already touched on DJ Burns. That guy's a fucking animal.
He's an absolute unit. Like he starts backing you down. He doesn't have to slam his shoulder into you. He just walks you down from the 3-point line to the block and then just abuses you on the block. It's belittling. I would feel so embarrassed if I was one of those bigs that he just does that to.
I mean, there's nothing you can do.
No, there's absolutely nothing you can do.
I
So
coming
with
out of
wait, say that again.
coming out of high school, he was the third ranked player out of South Carolina, behind
Right.
behind Zion and Ja.
Right, I saw that. I mean, those two are, superstars in the league right now. Zion could be making a case for the next face of the NBA if he just went on a diet.
And if and if Ja just stopped flashing guns on Instagram and shit.
Yeah, just stopped acting like he's from the hood. Um, but so I believe you have a message for a few new listeners that we have taken on.
Yes, one of our listeners pointed out that I may have jumped the gun on them not making the playoffs, which in our fantasy basketball league, which I'm not sure if that's exactly what I said. I do know I said they won't win the championship, and I stand on that. They will not, but I would like to retract my statement and show that I am a man of integrity. He has a chance, and it looks like he might make the playoffs tonight. And I'll leave it at that. You won't win anything. You're a scumbag of a person. You know who you are. And you should keep my name out of your mouth in these Snapchats before things get physical.
Yeah, so I believe the individual's team that you're talking about goes by the alias of Goat Team. And
Yes, they
so
they
yeah, that individual was very upset, and specifically asked me to make sure that you keep Goat Team's name out of your mouth. Um, and he wanted you to revise your false accusation. Um,
it's
with
been revised, and you know what? People win one championship and they think they're somebody, but you better come correct when you're talking to the fucking two-time. All right, which
yeah,
I'll
you
leave it at. I don't want to talk about that piece of shit. I'm getting hot.
hot, getting hot. Well, we do know that this league doesn't really count because I don't play in it. Um,
I think you had a combined record of 4-87 in the 3 years you were in the league.
I'm pretty sure I won the first year.
No, you never won when there was money involved.
I don't think I played when there was money involved.
Of course you have. Don't listen. we're not Monday morning quarterbacking here. You were in the league for 3 years with money. You saw two of my championships. Don't play games.
I don't think I was in it for 3 years with money. I think I may have been in it for 1 or 2 years with money. But then my friends turned their backs on me, shunned me.
When you were out defending their right to speak freely
Def-
on the internet.
def- Defending the goddamn Constitution, and making it possible for these individuals, like the one who owns and operates Goat Team, to send his atrocious Snapchats with the goat face on every single day that everyone may or may not click through. Allegedly.
What do you think about?
What
What do you think the reasoning is behind the filter?
I think he. I
Tread,
think. I
tread
think
carefully.
there's a. I think there's it's a wall, it's a shelter. It makes him have this safe space that he can speak freely from.
I'm refusing to comment on the goat
No,
filter.
you have to. You have to.
It's a mask, you know.
Right. Exactly.
It's a mask.
Yeah. It's a mask. Were you so embarrassed? Are you afraid he's gonna come for you in his snap tonight?
Oh, he's already going to come for me. This isn't about bashing that individual. He just keeps calling me a cuck. And I think it's because our podcast is named Sammy and Marissa's Husbands, which is funny. He keeps calling me my wife's name and then cuck. And I don't love it, if we're being honest. But this isn't a podcast about him, so let's get away from him.
Okay, we'll get away from him. Another thing with the new followers, it almost seems as if we're building a little bit of a following. We have some people that seem to be interested. Will it last?
The interest or the podcast?
The interest. The podcast is going to go on forever. I don't care if anybody listens to it or not.
We have 41 listeners, and they can't all be our friends.
There's 0% chance we have 41 listeners.
I have the numbers.
No fucking way. 41 people listen to this.
41 distinct devices based on like our analytics from the Spotify for podcasters link.
Well, I hope they're doing all right because we've given some very, very bad gambling advice. So there's a hotline out there somewhere. You should probably use it.
Well, I do believe in one or two episodes we said take what we say as law, but we were obviously kidding.
Yeah, I mean, when I said that, I did believe that what I said was going to happen. It's not like I knew it was going to be wrong. I truly think every time I put a bet in, I'm going to get it right.
Fair enough.
With yeah, and that's not the case at all. I'm actually sitting at 47% overall for my total bet slips, which could be worse, I will say. But back to the listeners, how do we determine who gets the first guest appearance out of the friends? I think we talked about Bryce getting the first one because he's been the first consistent listener. Austin kind of fucked us a little bit, for lack of a better term.
I have to comment on that.
Okay.
He will be our second podcast guest. He he did go through something, and I won't comment on what it was, and wasn't listening, and then he kind of came after me a little bit.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
He's caught up now, and he said he came after me a little bit, so he'll get his. Don't worry, kid. We'll get you on here.
All right, we'll get him on there. Yeah, that just goes to show you it doesn't matter what you have going on in your life. You have to listen.
That's what I told him. I said podcast trumps all.
It's true. It's true. So I don't really have any best bets, right? Because I don't know officially what matchups are going to be. I don't know the lines yet because they haven't came out. Now I will ask, are the games next weekend? Is it Sweet 16 and Elite Eight?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's probably Friday and Sunday games, or is it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again?
I think they might split it up. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know if they'll have Sunday games because, oh, wait, when is the first? The first is Monday. And I think the national championship is the third or the fourth. So they might be earlier in the week,
For some
possibly.
for some reason, I think we have Sweet 16 Thursday, Friday, Elite Eight Saturday, Sunday. Then next Saturday or Friday, whatever freaking day it is, we have Final Four. And then that Monday, we have Sunday off in between, and then Monday's the Final Four. That's what I think.
I'll tell you what, I'll remedy this right now and I'll just tell you.
That sounds like a great idea. Um, Sounds like a great idea. I think what was I gonna say?
I have heard from one of our listeners that we need a better, maybe like a sign off instead of just like ending.
Yeah, we probably could do that. But we
And
probably could do that for the intro as well.
yeah, that's been consistent advice. And this listener who told me this also happened to smash me in a game of putt putt this weekend.
Putt putt. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a group of us there, but he shone bright. He shone bright.
Well, like I said, you guys can do all this competition that you'd like. Just know there's an asterisk on every win that you guys get.
You're like,
Every win.
yeah, I do think I don't know if we need like a pre-recorded intro, but maybe I like what we've been doing where I'll say like a little something, you'll say a little something, then Sammy and Marissa's husbands. And then you could maybe introduce yourself. I can introduce myself.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So like, hey, I'm Sammy's husband. You say, hey, I'm Marissa's husband, so they can hear the sounds of our voices
Right.
and melt a little.
Get a little moist.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna sound coming over the airwaves.
Voice probably isn't gonna sound great to the 7 dudes that listen to this.
Hey, there's 41 people. Some of them have to be women.
There's no chance. For one, 41 people don't listen to this. For two, no chance any of them are women.
I'll pull up the demos, bro. I'll pull up the demographics.
I'd like to see that actually. I would. Um, I threw down some grass seed in my yard this weekend. Got a little topsoil over top of it. Um, Put the sprinkler out there. We're getting some water going. So I'm hoping my infield is gone here in the next couple weeks.
Trying to make that thing an outfield.
Trying to make that thing an outfield. There's gonna be weeds in the outfield. Don't really care. I just want a little bit of green out there. Like you could
I'm
seriously take it. It really looked like, you go to baseball tournaments as a kid and you go to some of those infields. They got a little weeds in them. They look like they're gonna take some pretty gnarly hops. Well, like that's my backyard. Like you could do a round of infield outfield on there and it would give you some gnarly hops. Um, and then also we have a little um garden that we're starting. So we had our little greenhouse. We got all those seeds to sprout and we transferred them over to solo cups now because they're starting to kind of bust out. Um, the roots are. And then once we set them in the solo cups for about 2 weeks, we're going to transfer them to some what are they called? Like above ground planters. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be fucking harvesting some crops, be eating some veggies.
Where'd you get the seed from?
Lowe's.
Um, how long have you been? Did you do the thing with the wet paper towels where they
No.
like germinate first and then you put it in the soil?
So I'll tell you what I did. We got all the seeds from Lowe's and we bought this greenhouse type thing. And it's kind of like a plastic deal with little like it really looks like tiny little pellets of black stuff. But what it is just like compressed soil. And then you
Okay.
pour water into it. And they expand. You let it sit for like 10 minutes and these little soil pellets become like 2 inches tall. And you kind of pull them open a little bit and you plant your seed in there and you pop the lid on. You let it sit for approximately a week until you see the seeds start to barely break the surface. Um, then you take the top off and you kind of just let a little bit of air come in. So the fresh air comes in. Once all the seeds have sprouted, you take the top completely off. Um, and then let the actual soil dry up. And then once it dries up, you're supposed to transfer it to a little bit bigger of a container. So we got like 50 plants in my office right now.
It's
Um,
pretty involved. I mean, it's hard to take stuff from seed to harvest.
yeah, no, we have like 50 sprouts, like it's all from seeds. Um, Pretty cool.
Do you have
Well,
any hot peppers? I heard hot peppers were pretty easy.
not, I mean, I got jalapenos, not necessarily hot peppers.
That's what I mean, like a jalapeno type.
Yeah, we got some jalapeno, we got bell peppers, we got squash, we got tomatoes, cilantro, um, stuff like that. I can't think of what else, but might be a little homesteader. Maybe I'll fuck around and get some chickens.
I think that's a pretty good idea. I mean, one of the guys I delivered to at Seaview, he like fertilizes his stuff with like fish bones and chicken shit, and his I've never seen a garden like that.
Yeah, I've heard actually that's really good. There's this fertilizer that you can get and it comes in like a liquid form, but it's organic and it's fish bones and like decayed fish or something like that. You're supposed to mix it with water. That way it's not too potent, but it should last you like a whole season. So we're actually gonna look into getting some of that stuff. But I guess decaying fish, plants love that shit. Who knows?
Yeah, people will come in and ask like specifically for like fish carcasses
Oh,
and
really?
shells of like shrimp and shit. Yeah, but apparently it's really good for your garden.
Huh? You guys give it to them?
Yeah, I think they pay like $1 a pound or something, like something really cheap.
Hmm.
But I mean, the amount of stuff that there is
Well,
insane.
right. I
That we
mean, you're just gonna throw it away. You might as well let people use it. I just didn't know if there was some kind of law about like trash giving away from like because technically you guys are like a restaurant, right?
there is a restaurant, but that stuff's not coming from the restaurant and it doesn't go in the restaurant.
Okay.
It's like it's on. They're like the restaurant and the fish house are like separated by doors. But I mean,
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk about was this week we did land nav, right? When I say land nav, it's land navigation. So the students have to go out to the field. We stay there all week. They get a compass, a protractor, and a map, and they have to find 4 out of 7 points in order to pass. We do a daytime and a nighttime. So all week we let them practice. So the first one is like cadre led. So we go out there and take them around, show them how to do it, our little tips and tricks. Then they do a buddy team practice. So where they're just them and a friend and they go through and they practice together. Then they do a pre-test, then they do a test, and then there's a retest if they don't pass any of that. So the pre-test counts, right? We don't tell them it counts, but it does count. So whatever they get on the pre-test, if it's higher than their test, we take that and let them use it. But you should have seen some of these people walking around at night, like because you do a day and a night. So daytime, it's all day, but at night, like I'm not talking about like 6:30 p.m. when the sun's going down. I'm talking like darkness. And you're walking through the woods, and it's not just like woods that like no animals are in. Like there's fucking snakes out there, there's hogs out there, there's coyotes, deers, and sometimes like some of these people, it's their first time walking through the woods. Like you can tell, it's pretty apparent. None of these people ever walked through the woods before, and it is midnight, dude. Like darkness in the middle of the woods, and there was some scared people. Like one kid said there was a mountain lion out there. I was like, look, dude, we're in South Georgia. Like there's no mountain lion out there. But yeah, man, that shit was crazy. But it was a interesting time. Interesting time.
I'm it's kind of strange, like just like you would think everybody's like been in the woods like that before.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever been in the woods in the middle of the night? Like I'm talking like acres of woods. Like not a road
Well,
close to you.
no,
Yeah,
no.
no. I know. I
I've been
have.
in the woods. I've been in the woods playing manhunt.
Yeah, but not like these type. These are the woods, dude. There's not a gas station within freaking 20 minutes away. Like
I-
we're
I'm talking. I'm talking Beau Rivage golf course woods.
right. You're 10 meters into the woods.
You fuck around, run into a gator out there though.
True that. There's no gators down here. So yeah, mess around run into a gator, that'd be wild. But um yeah, before I came to this school, like I hadn't really been in the woods like that. And I don't like think of myself to be afraid of the dark. But when you're in the woods and there is no darkness, like
I mean,
it
no
comes,
light.
it comes and gets you pretty good. Now, we were out there with a basic training unit was using the same training area, and the basic training kids, like they have to do it, but it doesn't really count. So if they don't fail or if they don't pass and they just fail, like they're not gonna not graduate basic training. So they were doing their first night iteration, and their drill sergeants decided it was funny to take a Bluetooth speaker, go into the woods, and start playing some like Freddy Krueger type shit, like
Oh my god.
weird, like super freaky, sketchy stuff over the speaker. And like there was our students came back to us and was like, "What? I don't know what's going on in those woods over there, but I'm not going back over there." So, like there was one, like
Frightening.
yeah, they were just sitting in the woods with this little speaker, just fucking with people. And there was this one thing they were playing over the radio, and it was like a little girl being like, "Help me."
Oh my god. No, I wouldn't have fucking went back there neither.
Fuck no, are you kidding me? So we had to go and like find them because they were like, there's something weird going on in the woods. And we had to go and find these people and be like, hey, dude, like, you gotta stop. And they were kind of butthurt when we told them they had to stop, but because
Who
they
was
thought
it?
it was just drill sergeants and they were messing with their students because it didn't count for their students. And we're like, hey, like this is our test night, so like you can't do this when we're testing. Sure, if it didn't count for anything, like whatever, like mess with them all you want to. Who cares? But dude, there were some scared people.
I wouldn't have fucking liked to be out there with that shit either.
Yeah. Um yeah. It was funny, but it was
There is
overall not too bad. It's cold.
Have you ever done fantasy baseball?
I haven't.
Um we just got into a league with like Kyle and a couple other guys at work, and I got Todd in it.
Yeah.
Um and we're drafting right now, like it just started.
Hmm.
And I I know he's gonna listen to this at some point. I'm gonna beat Wes over the fucking head with a bat for taking my pick.
Wes is playing in a fantasy baseball league.
Yeah. He fucking stole Shohei from me, and I'm gonna punch him in his face when I see him.
That's pretty funny.
What do you think? Have you seen all that stuff about Shohei and the gambling with his interpreter?
No.
Oh my god, dude. This shit is insane. Apparently, obviously Shohei doesn't know English that well.
Right.
Apparently his interpreter Like it just came out that he took like $5 million of Shohei's money and was like gambling it with a bookie in Japan. But the theory is that it's really been Shohei and he's been throwing games. Like there was a guy, there's a guy who like had all these uh like games where like it had like a crazy line and then that line ended up hitting. And now I'm not saying that's true.
Allegedly.
I'm not saying that's true, but this will be the biggest gambling scandal since Jordan in the 90s.
Yeah, but Jordan wasn't really gambling on himself.
Buddy, why do you think he took a break from basketball?
Allegedly. I like the conspiracy theories. I'm all here for that shit.
Wes just texted me and said, "Hopefully, I'm doing good." LOL. I will fucking kill him.
Is this happening right now?
Yes.
We're running the draft freaking live. We're running the draft live.
Like literally 1 minute ago it started. He's a piece of shit.
I mean, you should have expected him to take Ohtani.
I didn't because he was like down the draft board a little bit and I was eyeballing him. Are you
Oh,
both
so
or an egg?
Wes reached for him, huh?
He reached. He took my reach.
Yeah.
What do you have in your hand for our viewers who do you think we'll ever put out the
video?
whenever we get better cameras, I think we should
We gotta get better cameras because this is really bad right now. I have a you can see it.
Is that an onion?
No, it's a chapstick thing that looks like a nipple.
Oh, is that the Publix one?
No, Morgan got it for Sammy when she was at the Korean airport. I'm not really sure the significance, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty fun to play with.
I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. We got 2 minutes left on the timer. You've put down your nipple chapstick.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, we're only releasing the audio, so I'm just gonna let everybody know it looked like a cock. It looked like a cock, not a nipple. But what you got anything else you want to say?
No, nothing else that I want to say. I genuinely think UNC has a shot to win the national championship. We got to get through Alabama if we play Alabama first, but we do need to think of an outro. I'm not really sure. I don't got any bright ideas right now.
I'm honestly happy. This is fun. People have told me they like it. I don't know if they're just saying that because they're our friends, which also our friends are fucking mean, so I don't think they would lie about that.
No, our friends are probably the cruelest people that I've ever been in contact with.
Corey made a point. He said he thinks it's good that we're getting this out into the world so other people can know how cool our friends are.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Corey had a pretty nice act, and he sent me an invite to play in the basketball league next year. So I do feel a little good about that. It makes me feel part of the team again. So
I think you should come back. The league has missed you.
I don't know if you guys are ready for that to start losing again. But I'll decide on that in a little bit. So
I'm gonna end it with this because we got less than a minute. I want to end and not have to do some other recording bullshit. It's good talking to you as always. We'll get another one next week. I'm gonna end it on GOAT team fucking sucks.
fuck go team.
All right then.